My name is Natalie Waters. I'm a senior at Kennesaw State University. I graduate in a couple of weeks, which I'm very excited about.
So now that the class has been set, what role did you actually play?
My role this semester has been to play the granny, which I'm not sure if all of the students in the class knew about, but it's a rather endearing role that I guess encourages support and making sure that they reach their goals and they achieve success there at the end. But it's been an interesting role for me because it's completely different than what I've ever, played as a role, I guess,
So how did the granny technique conflict with your normal style of leadership?
Usually I take the leader role and I tend to be the one to step up and make sure everything gets done. But this way, I was the leader, but in a more endearing way where I had to encourage people to be the best that they could be and to think outside of the box, because this class did not have handcuffs. There were no guidelines. We had a couple of deliverables. This is what you ultimately need to do. But other than that, it was up to the students to gain their success, and it was my job to be along beside them and help them get that success.
So what did you learn from the granny technique?
I learned a lot as a granny. I realized that people respond better to grannies than they do to any other form of leader. And my leadership style is more so authoritative, where I'm clearly the leader, you're clearly the follower. And, I tend, it's not in a negative manner, it's just, those are the roles in which we follow. But this way is more of, it's like a caretaker. And so I had to be there to encourage a lot and say, this is what we need to do. How are you best fitted to get there? What do I need to do to help you? And with each person, it was different. And so, despite having all different personalities, they all achieved the same success, but they all needed the same amount of time and encouragement, but they all wanted it differently. So, let's see, Cassie is up over here. She's on her own. She's very independent, extroverted, and I would say, okay, this is what I envision, and she's like, I've got that. Kareem, he needed more, okay, how does this relate to me personally? And so each person was a little bit different, and I had to take that avenue. But overall, they still needed encouragement. They still needed a couple of deadlines to say, by this point, you should have your script done. Or, hey, don't forget to email me that. You're supposed to, a couple of days ago. But, everyone was different, but overall, they all needed the same amount of attention.
So can you also explain the process and techniques that you used during the class?
It was actually kind of difficult to observe a process in this class because there is no clear process. I feel like if it had not been an honors class and there had been handcuffs, as we always say, this is exactly what's expected of you at this time and in this manner, it would have been very easy to define a process. But here, I found there wasn't one, and it was up to me to make sure that we were able to get everything done that we needed to do. And sure, they had articles, they had their dissertation, and they had to watch all of these videos and really find their takeaways. And so the process became, how is it that I best need to figure this out based on my schedule, what works for me? And that's really how we aligned the rest of the semester, and that's how the process developed.
So what did you learn from the class dynamics?
Initially, when you walk into the classroom, everyone is doing their own thing. And it boils down to the outfits they're wearing or the computers they're using or whether or not they're eating a snack because it's morning time. Each person operates differently when you walk into the class. But then you start talking about, okay, this is our topic for the day, and what did you think about this? What were your takeaways? And then immediately, these quiet intellectual beings just start speaking to each other like they've known each other their whole lives and that they're best friends. And one person has something to say about Bob Artemenko. Well, that related to Lisa Borders, and next thing you know, you're half an hour into it, and they're still continuing their conversation because it related to them on that personal level. And it was deeper than the academia. It turned into a personal experience that they gained from not just themselves watching, but together as a whole. What can we learn together?
So with all this experience, what did you actually take away from the class?
It's not about how you do, it's what you learn, as always in your classes. I have learned so much that it's not about what you do. It truly is about how you go about doing things, why you're doing them, what you learned from them. And you share that with other people, especially at this level in this class. I watched Dr. Sullivan and I take away so much. Well, what did you take away? And then we just continue on that path. And it really goes further than just that life memoir. It becomes something that you take with you forever. And so it's important to understand this is not just a class. This is something you take with you for the rest of your life.